first item on the agenda is minutes of the regular meeting on April 16th.
To approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Question.
Questions being called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Next item is minutes of this special meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Question.
Questions been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, thank you. Petitions, communications. The Dillon name Tree City. Do you want to just pass on that until, we're waiting here for a couple of tree board members also to come, if we could just pass and jump in when they come, if we could.
Sounds good.
For your, I don't know, enjoyment. The health board minutes of the April 18th, this is for you to read, to know what's going on. So, don't need a vote on that, just for you to be informed. Okay, mayor's report to the city council. Number one item is approval of a parade for the Shriners on May 31st.
Move acceptance or approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Call for the question.
The question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, thank you. The next item is the recommendation of construction award and notice to proceed. This has to do with the safe routes, isn't it? Okay. I'll let JS just tell a little bit more about it.
We finally got concurrence from Montana Department of Transportation to award this bid to R.E. Miller and Sons for the bid amount of $81,331. And I would hope that you would move approval.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Oh, sorry, there's two number ones. Didn't see that, sorry. Thank you. Next one is to appoint Joe Horrocks to the full-time officer, permanent.
I would move that we appoint Joe Horrocks for a full-time officer for Dillon Police Department.
Second.
Okay, discussion. We have Joe here if he wants to stand up and introduce himself a little, or...
How's everybody doing? I'm Joe Horrocks. Been full-time for about a year. Police station, reserve for about a year prior. These are my kids. This is Landon, Ashton, and this is Alex. This is my wife, Jennifer.
Welcome aboard.
Well, you got a vote still. Okay.
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, let me, if you
Now we
would,
can congratulate.
well, you can congratulate now, but I was going to give them the old two right here. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and the ordinances of the City of Dillon,
and the ordinance of the City of Dillon,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity, so help me God.
with fidelity, so help me God.
And that's it. Sign your oath. Thank you. And then we make it official. Congratulations, being an officer. Well, that was fast. Okay, next item on the agenda is the monthly revenue.
Make a motion, accept. Second.
Been moved and seconded, discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Next item is the citizens' request. Do you have any questions? We'll wait for a second as you guys go over them.
Were you able to get the rabbits? Saturday.
He's actually caught 2 muskrats. No rabbits yet.
Here's the muskrat hat.
Yeah.
Now. Okay. Unless anybody had any questions. I see 2 tree board members come in. You want to go back to the tree board?
Can if you want.
Under petitions, communications, the Dillon name Tree City, USA.
Okay, we have a press release here from the Arbor Day Foundation. It says Dillon, Montana was named the 2013 Tree City, USA by Arbor Day Foundation in honor of its commitment to effective urban forest management. Dillon achieved Tree City, USA recognition by meeting the program's 4 requirements: a tree board or department, a tree care ordinance, an annual community forestry budget of at least $2 per capita, and an Arbor Day observation and observance and proclamation. The Tree City USA program is sponsored by the Arbor Day Foundation in partnership with the U.S. Forest Service and the National Association of State Foresters. Everyone benefits when elected officials, volunteers, and committed citizens in communities like Dillon make smart investments in urban forests, said John Rosenau, founder and chief executive of the Arbor Day Foundation. Trees bring shade to our homes and beauty to our neighborhoods, along with numerous economic, social, and environmental benefits. Cleaner air, improved stormwater management, energy savings, and increased property values and commercial activity are among the benefits enjoyed by the Tree City, USA communities. So that's the letter from Arbor Day Foundation. As Director of Operations from the city, if you 2 want to come up.
These are 2 tree board members.
We have Tim Egan and Ann Egan. And I'd like to show that this is our 4th year as a Tree City, USA. And if it wasn't for these 2 folks here, this would have never happened. We were also given quite the flag here, if I get it right. So, sorry, Sandy. No, we're good. So we got a Tree City, USA flag out of the deal.
This is really nice plaque.
And then also, this is the Urban and Community Forestry Program of the Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation recognizes the City of Dillon for a commitment to excellence in urban forestry and hereby proclaims the community of Montana Tree City of the Year for 2014. Congratulations.
Congratulations to the tree board.
There's 3 cities.
Go ahead.
Oh, there's a
Three
small communities, I think it's 1,500 and below were chosen, and then mid-size, which is us. Small was Fort Benton, mid-size was us, and then Billings was the large. And so we got a grant of $7,500. So we got the trees all pruned on Atlantic Street. We're gonna do some replacements and put some on that intersection so they don't interfere with the state highway department's stuff. So that's what the money's for.
Would you guys like to give a little recap on the Arbor Day festivities? Of how many trees were planted, the projects that you did with the kids?
Okay, so you could do it. Last year on Arbor Day, we planted 19 trees with the elementary school after they finished all their renovations up at school. And some trees had to be removed when they did the remodel. But each class, except for the fourth graders, we did a poster contest with them, but each class planted a specific tree. So this year, they did that last year, we did as many different types of tree species as we could, just because you just never know what the next insect or disease is. So this year, we had little plaques made, and if you go into J.C. Park, you'll see there's 2 of them in there. But they're little metal plaques, and we put them on stone, so they'll say like Mrs. Baker's second grade class. It'll say the common name of the tree, and then the scientific, and then it'll say planted Arbor Day 2013. So each one of those trees has a little plaque, as do a couple trees in the J.C. Park that people donated trees and wanted a little plaque. And for the last 4 years, we've done a poster contest with the fourth graders. And so we frame their poster, and then they get, first place gets 30, second place gets 20, third place gets $10. And then we shrink wrap and put their pictures on a mat board. And this year the middle school did it as well. They could use any kind of medium, and same thing, they got the same cash prizes. And then at the depot, part of that whole depot renovations was what we used the Great Harvest Bake Sale money for. We got those trees pruned, trying to, the trees aren't the best there, but our goal is to kind of minimize risk so that a lot of people use those parks so that we have minimal breakage, like that last snowstorm, that early one in October, there's a lot of breakage. So they tried to make the trees safer, and then we planted in 8 big trees to replace it so that down the road, when it's time for those green ash to come out, then there'll be some new trees coming in. And then some of them, like Derek helped with us, the tree pruning clinic this spring. I was going to tell you, we pruned 93 trees that day along the walking trail behind the Y. Derek was one of them who came and helped out in JS. So, anything else?
Oh yeah, we just appreciate all the help we've gotten from the city, and want to continue to work with them and just improve the city with trees and reduce the risk to the city. So that's what we're about.
Any questions? So at this point, we've gotten through all the parks. All the park trees have been pruned, and if you don't get out in the parks, we planted 40 new trees in the park last year with in all the different parks: West Side, Vigilante, the Children's, Ivy Park, with grant money from Northwestern Energy. And then they also helped us plant. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work. Thanks again. Okay, next item on the agenda is reports of officers and boards of the city. The city attorney, he's in Billings right now. We had him do a letter. The city treasurer and the city judge wanted a question asked, so did I, on the bonding. And so he looked into it and gave his opinion that we are bonded through MMIA's insurance, and that covers it with the state requirements. So I just paraphrased it. He probably said it different than that, but okay. Next one's the planning board. I apologize. I think there was zoning, which would be next, but we got some minutes sent, and it got sent to a machine that we never, a computer that we don't look at much for the minutes until after the stuff was published, and then we noticed it. So we apologize, there's some that we didn't get on here, so. that was an oversight, so. Is the planning board, I think Lynn's the only one.
Yeah, no report, we met last
Okay.
night, we're still doing subdivision review.
Okay, thank you. And the zoning,
No report.
aside from, we have it, we didn't. Director of Operations, yes?
Below you see the zoning compliance certificates that were applied for, and then on the back page, the one that was approved. Are there any questions, comments? Anything?
Where was 1030 Selway Drive?
1030 Selway Drive is that empty lot right across from John Deere.
After the second degree.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Next one, police chief.
No report.
The fire chief is sick, I think I was told, or he's absent, however, so. The judge isn't here. I know she put a letter in here for everybody to read. So,
Thank you for following up with her on that.
okay. At least we got answers from her, however that be. Okay, the treasurer is not here, he's in Dillon's. Tree board, which we already went over, sort of.
Yep.
So. And then, library board, sorry, I put them back. We have, some minutes, I don't know if we have to approve these, so, since they're a full board on their own. So it's just put in for your, information. Okay. Now we go to reports, standing committees, judiciary,
No report.
okay. Finance committee, Mr. Spear.
Before you have the minutes of the May 2nd, 2014 meeting, I move approval.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded, discussion.
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved.
Before you have the claims and the line item budget report for the month of April 2014. I move approval.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded, discussion.
call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.
In your minutes, you'll see where we recommended to the city council to do a resolution of intent to amend the fiscal year 2013-2014 budget. Finance committee has gone over it, and we pretty much agree with everything there, so I move approval.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to recommend to the city council a resolution of intent to amend the budget. Discussion? Now, just to tell you, I put the dates in, feel free to change. You know, if you, the 21st is the next meeting on May, and so at 6:30, we'd have the public hearing. For that, we'd get it published in the paper and have it. And then the vote for that, though, would be the first meeting, would be the vote on the final. Okay, so now we have the budget to be amended for anybody to see, and then we'll go through that. Okay,
Call for a question.
question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Next one, health. Now, Bill's gone. Who else? And there's no report anyway, so. And same thing with cemetery, Mr. Trotson's gone, but there's no report probably, so. Street and alley, Mr. Octor.
In your packet, you have the minutes of the Street and Alley Committee meeting of April 14th, which I would move approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, discussion.
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Along with the Street and Alley Committee minute meetings, the topic of discussion there was the Bannock Street Railroad project, and the committee has recommended approval to complete the original Bannock Street crossing, and I would move approval.
Second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded, discussion.
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Any other on street now?
No other report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Water Sewer Committee, Bob, Tom?
No report.
And the last one, I'm not sure on how you handle ad hocs, if you guys have to approve them. It's put in there mainly, there's no recommendations yet from them, so it's just for your information on what's going on with it right now, so.
You want to approve
I don't, does it need to be?
it? I don't think
It's up to you guys if it needs. Okay.
There's no action, so.
Another item, public comment on items of significant public interest not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the city. Mr. Warner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. George Warner, 1315 Highway 41. I'm here this evening to discuss and/or determine an amount certain so that I can pay you for our recent litigation and finalize it. Does anybody know how much money I owe you?
I would guess that
I
the judge.
Yeah, thought that was set by the court and then in being held.
The amount certain was to be determined by your lawyer, Mr. Gilbert.
I will check with Mr. Gilbert tomorrow and find out what that is.
Okay.
Does that satisfy everybody?
Yeah.
The schedule should contain an amount of interest
Right.
and that's the only thing that we need right now. Now, he did submit a judgment to the court that had an indeterminate amount of interest in it. In other words, it parroted the
Right.
10%. My position is, I paid this a year and a half ago, and I was prepared to pay this on January 10th, which was 30 days after the first judgment was prepared. Okay. In addition, you now have an amended judgment which includes the interest. That interest has not come forth to the court. And statutorily, if there isn't an amount for me to pay, that's where it ends. Now, I'll give you those statutory references so the communication is consistent. The right to interest is 27-1-11. They stick together when you don't want them to. The interest on torts is 27-1-10. So that gives the rules as to how it can be calculated. My calculations, which started on the day that the court ordered, which was the day of billing, January 31st, 2008, through December 13th, 2013 was $643.37. And that was on a principal amount of $1197.51. And the total should be $1840.88. We have had one correspondence from Mr. Gilbert, which contended that he was awarded costs. And that was true in the initial judgment. Okay? He had 5 days from December 10th to bring forth the amount of costs. He has not complied with that and still has not presented any issue on costs. If he were to do so, we have the right to respond to what those costs would be. That time has expired, so even if he did so, we would respond in kind. The problem is, and this is specific for everyone's benefit, I do not want the cost to escalate. In other words, if he writes a motion or we write a motion, we're getting back into this $250 a shot for each of us to keep trading letters back and forth. And that's why I came here tonight. As soon as we've got the amount certain, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's paid. And we'll go on with it. So I just wanted to bring that forth to you folks, and hopefully we can get it finished right. Okay? Any questions? Thank you.
We'll look into it.
Any other?
Second?
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you for showing.